9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.
TGIF family, thank God it's Friday. Yes, it really is Friday. And welcome to another edition of WWT Live. It's part of Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet. I am your professor, Gerard Bonner, GB. Some of the other names you don't have to call me, but I'm just glad to be here. This is going to be a fantastic show. Yes, we have some breaking news for you. But today is all about the Shield, who indeed is the greatest member of the faction known as the Shield. We will have that debate and much more. So you might want to bring your friends in for this one because this one's going to be chock full of fun and great information. But of course, I am not doing this alone. As the songwriter says, it's no fun unless your homie has some. So with that said, here comes our tribal councilman. I almost called him our tribal chief. Somebody might get upset with that. He is the final councilman. Will Farrell's in the building. Councilman, how are you, sir?
I throw that finger up.
Yeah.
Yo, I gotta tell you, this is how I know Professor's a good parent. Y'all don't get to see stuff like this, but as soon as we went live, I don't know what happened. All I saw was this. Like so many memories. I was like, oh my God. I was like, oh yeah, this man is a phenomenal parent. Because I know they walked off. There wasn't nothing else need to be explained. They definitely left when it.
And you hear no noise now. So
no, not at all.
There we are. All right. Up next, first of all, we've got some cool people, of course, in the chat. Of course, Dylan's in the chat. Good morning to you, sir. It is morning all the way in Australia. Good day to you, Lewis. Good day to you, cousin. And happy birthday, Pachu. It was your birthday yesterday. So shout out to you, kind sir, for sure. Of course, Wednesday was her day, but she does show up on Friday. And honestly, guys, I don't know what we're about to see. But she's all things elite. She is the elitist of women's wrestling talk. Courtney's in the building. Courtney, how are you?
I just had to play Moxley's theme for this. I just had to.
Okay.
I just had to.
We got to work on your
side. My heart sing for this debate.
We got to work on your sound, Courtney.
I
know. Intro, it just cut your music off.
I know.
I don't know if it's your computer or if YouTube is just doing this. But every time I heard it,
I know.
Yeah.
We're gonna work on it.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, last but certainly not least, whenever we get into these debates, I must admit it is always fun to have her with us. She's always well informed, but she always, let's just say, looks the part. Now, I don't know what that's going to look like today, but in the building is Wrestling with Honey. Ready for this great reveal.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Wrestling with Honey, and I am prepared to be your tribal advocate for this great debate today. I hope you all are ready because we have our facts, we have our files, we have our notes, and we are very, very well prepared.
Yo, the way your head placements is, I thought you had a ball cap right here. I thought you went full in Heyman. I was like,
that's just my big ass forehead.
Wow, that's funny.
I thought because it was cut off right here, and I was like, did she really do it? Because like he just said, like, you know, we never know how far she finna go, and it's
right.
like I saw Blazer, and I was like, did she?
I was kind of going for Tribal Chief meets Paul Heyman meets Morpheus. You know, that's what I'm going for.
Yeah, the wise man is holding on to the Ula Fala for this debate.
Yes, the wise man and the tribal chief are set aside, and they have appointed me to be the tribal advocate and speak freely for them.
All right. Well, then, this ought to be a very interesting debate, and we will
Nice
certainly get
outfit,
into that.
Courtney.
Thank you. If you could tell, I mean, for this debate, obviously, I kind of had to
Well,
represent one of the members of the Shield.
I absolutely love how people left it to our imaginations who they thought would be top of the heap here on this. But no worries. Hey, represent well for sure.
Yes.
With that said, before we get into that, we're going to get into just a little bit of news as we tend to do. We've got SmackDown happening tonight, another 3-hour episode of SmackDown, and it will include an appearance from Solo Sikoa, his first since losing the Ula Fala on the debut of Monday Night Raw. Some things are actually very interesting because if you'll notice, when Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu were in a tag match last week in the main event, they did not refer to them as the New Bloodline. So I don't know if this means what we knew as the Bloodline, the New Bloodline no longer exists, if they're going their separate ways, if they're going to have a new name. Perhaps we'll get some indication on that tonight as we see Solo Sikoa. Also tonight, we will have a tag team match, which kind of feels like it's almost tournament style to figure out who could be the next challenger for the World Tag Team Championships, the WWE Tag Team Championships, as the former tag team champions, Motor City Machine Guns, take on Los Garzas, who's had many names. They are Asthma. They have been other names as well. So their latest names are Los Garzas. We'll see them there tonight. In addition, this is going to be very interesting. It is a tag team title match involving the current champions, Bianca Belair and Naomi, going up against the former women's champion, Nia Jax, and her cohort. I can't talk tonight, and I don't know what that's all about. But with all of that said, but before we go to the next piece on this, I do want to ask, Bianca had some new gear drop today. And there are a lot of people that are speculating about this new gear in terms of if it's a foreshadowing of things to come for Bianca, or is this just new aggressive gear? Any thoughts on the new gear for Bianca Belair, Councilman?
At first, I just thought it was some dope gear that was coming out. So I tried to not look too much into it. I just think it looks great. But I did just see something that I feel like, you know what? Y'all may be right. I just saw Jade Cargill post a highlight reel of herself, and the caption was 1 of 1. So I don't know if we get to see Jade Cargill tonight, or if this is something to where we get to see the big three start to go their own separate ways. I think y'all might be on to something with that and the merch.
So, Courtney, do you think that the merch is indeed an indicator or foreshadowing of things to come, or is it just new merch?
When I saw it, I was very excited, like, oh, Bianca has new merch. But then when you think about it, the plot kind of thickens. Because after last week's match, there was a little bit of friction. And as Councilman pointed out, with Jade's post, 1 of 1. So this is going to be interesting, as Honey would say, stirring the pot between Bianca and Jade. So this is going to be very interesting on SmackDown. Because is she going to be coming tonight? Is she going to be coming in a future episode of SmackDown? And also tend to forget, will we see the Meta Girls make an appearance on SmackDown tonight as well, since they are number 1 contenders for the tag team titles. So there's a lot of avenues that could go with this storyline.
So, Honey, let me pose this particular question to you, since there's so much talk about Bianca, Jade, Naomi. Was the real Easter egg the picture posted with the Meta Girls and Charlotte, as opposed to this gear of Bianca? What could we be? Are we reading the wrong thing at this point?
I honestly I'll put it this way. I don't know if what we're reading is the right or the wrong thing, but I think that WWE is rolling it out that way to play a little mind games with us, just to keep us on our toes and trying to figure out this crazy mystery that we still have not solved in a couple of months. I think this is definitely something to be on the lookout for. I mean, the Charlotte picture with the Meta Girls says a lot. When you have a picture worth 1,000 words, and we obviously know that from the experience we had with one picture with the big three. So funny how that works. I'm still going to stand by that we need to watch out for the outside alliances. There is a bigger threat to the big three than just themselves. And I truly believe that that's Charlotte Flair.
Well, we will certainly be looking out for this, and I wonder if tonight will give us any more clues. Again, SmackDown going down tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern on the USA Network. All right. In addition, we've got a title match tonight. The first title defense for Tiffany Stratton as she takes on Bayley, defending the WWE Women's Championship that she just won a couple of weeks ago after cashing in against Nia Jax. So this should be quite the match for sure. Does Tiffany retain or do we get a new champion? What do you think, Courtney?
Tiffany's keeping the title. And also, we may see an appearance from Miss Roxy after that encounter on NXT from Tuesday. So I would not be shocked to see Roxanne, but Tiffany is going to retain, and also seeing the curve between Roxanne and Bayley.
Honey, what do you think? Who's walking out of here tonight as the women's champion?
I would have to agree with Miss Courtney here, because there's no way that we went through all of this work building Tiffy time and we're just going to let it drop now. There's no way. She has picked up the ball and she is going to be rolling with that for quite some time. And this is going to be her first successful title defense against a horsewoman.
So speaking of that, Councilman, here's the question. Bayley has been involved in a number of recent high-profile situations, of course, being involved in the U.S. Championship tournament, losing there, and the like. Can she afford a loss for the women's title?
Oh, yeah. I don't think Bayley's stock has really dropped even since she's lost the title. I think if anything too, I don't want this to sound bad, but I feel like her and now Becky are at that level of putting people under their wing and showing like who's this next step. And I think even being in these high profiles and allowing folks that normally don't get that shot to her to help them elevate the stuff, like we saw with Roxanne, like we've even seen with hinting at Monday Night Raw. I don't think this loss hurts her. I just think it continues to raise all tides in the ship.
Okay. Well, we will see again tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. SmackDown on USA. You do not want to miss that. All right. Yes. Honey is okay.
Sorry. I just want to also let the people know, no watch along tonight. I don't want to, didn't want to get anybody misled for the evening. The Pachu birthday festivities are still in effect for the weekend. So enjoy your time watching SmackDown at home, everyone.
You take care of that birthday man. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
I'm gonna be there an hour and a half, so we gotta.
Yeah, listen. We gotta move. We gotta move. All right. So quickly, there was a big announcement made yesterday, and it's really a groundbreaking announcement if you think about this. WWE and TNA released a joint announcement that they now will be embarking upon a multi-year partnership that will involve TNA and NXT superstars involved in each other's shows, involved in cross-promotional matches and the like. And this will happen as soon as this Sunday for TNA's next big pay-per-view event, Genesis, happening in Dallas. So my question to you, and we'll start here, is what are your thoughts on this official partnership? We've kind of seen them, and I mentioned this in a video I released earlier today. We've kind of seen them dating for the last year or so, but now they've gone on and they've made it official with this announcement. How big is this announcement for you? I'll start with you, Courtney.
If you would have told me this back in 05, 04, and 06, I would probably be laughing in your face, because this is something I would have never expected, a partnership between WWE, but most specifically NXT and TNA in partnership, because this is really groundbreaking. And also TNA has a special place in my heart since I watched it from 2003 to 2006 at its peak. So this is a really great opportunity, and I'm seeing some stars. Also, it's going to be interesting because JBL's coming on Monday Night Raw. So this is really going to be intriguing to see. And also with the situation between him and Nick Nemeth. And also, I'm just waiting for a particular tag team from TNA just to come home to NXT. I'm just waiting.
Interesting. Now, we're not here to debate the accuracy of whether or not 2003 to 2006 was the peak for TNA. It's a whole nother discussion for another day, because the women's evolution started in 2008. But that's another discussion for another day. I won't do that with you right now. Honey, your thoughts on this announcement, and now that it is official, what kinds of things do you think we end up seeing from this partnership between TNA and NXT?
Well, we've already gotten a hint of it on Tuesday when we had NXT, and the TNA Knockouts women's champion, Masha Slamovich, was there, and she likes what she sees. So I definitely think we're going to see a lot of women getting in the mix from TNA and NXT, and there's a lot to work with. Maybe even Nick Nemeth. I mean, I would love that. I for an appearance on NXT somehow, or I'm not sure against who, because I don't know if you're beating Oba, but Moose and Oba finally, maybe something that we've kind of like been fantasy booking for the last year. I think that's something that would be very, very exciting, especially considering Oba's pretty much ran through the whole roster now, like up to this point. So it's like, what's left? And TNA would definitely be that. But I'm very happy and very excited for this partnership to go further. It's kind of like, they were dating steadily, and now, like you said, now they're in like a full relationship, and who knows, maybe we'll even see a marriage.
Stranger things have happened, that's for sure. And
Indeed.
Nick Nemeth in NXT would not be a foreign thing. He is a former NXT champion, so it certainly would make sense. Councilman, let me ask you this. For this dating phase that we saw in between TNA and NXT, it seemed like, for lack of a better term, only a certain tier of star from NXT made their way over to TNA. We saw Izzy Dame and Tatum Paxley. We saw at one point Sol Ruka, but we never got to see any of the current champions. Perhaps the more high profile one was Wes Lee because of the connection to the Rascals. Do you think that with the announcement of this partnership that we actually would end up seeing, say, a Josh Alexander finding his way in NXT, or perhaps, we've already mentioned an Obafemi, a Trick Williams, a Roxanne Perez make their way to NXT? Do you see the top tier of NXT showing up on TNA?
Absolutely. I even, to a point you made a long time ago when we talked about the women's tag team championship, give it some time and then see where we get. And if we look at it now, look what a women's tag team division is. It is incredible. I think the same thing we saw with TNA. And I think, too, something I had to remind myself of, TNA just came back not too long ago. I don't even think it's been 2 years since they've returned.
Well, they were Impact Wrestling. They've been around the whole time. Well, just the name change,
the revamp, the revamp.
Yeah, the name change, yeah.
But even that to help get that established first. Like, let's run through that established before we start kind of mixing in these stories that we might need to stay dedicated to when these big stars are coming. Let's focus on us first. Now that we're here, I think we will get to see those. And I think, too, it also benefits a lot of TNA wrestlers and NXT wrestlers before going to the big show. Sure. Like, NXT is great. If you go to TNA as well, though, and you can represent there and build yourself with that brand and help elevate that brand, it just makes all these superstars a better product when they go to the big show.
I'll also say, and by the way, there are a number of great matches potentially that the team or the chat is mentioning. Jeffrey's mentioning Hardy's versus Fraxy. Sign me up.
I'm here for that.
Mentioned Josh Alexander and Trick Williams. That would actually smack, I think.
Yeah.
I think that would really smack. Let's see. Christopher says Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez go to NXT. Tasha Steelz versus Roxanne Perez. I'm going to let the cat out of the bag and tell you, I just dropped a video earlier today with some potential matches. And I'll just tell you, go there to check out what I suggested for Tasha Steelz. I think you guys will go crazy on that one. Let's see. If Roxanne goes, it's for Roxanne and Cora to go after the Knockouts Tag Team Championship. The Knockouts Tag Division needs help. I would also say to that, though, Bosa, that the Knockouts Women's World Championship is rather prestigious. And so I think Roxanne going after that would be something that makes sense, because in terms of longevity, the TNA Knockouts division has always been either number 1 or number 2 in terms of women's divisions in pro wrestling. So I think there certainly could be an opportunity for that. Savannah Evans versus Zarya. I like that.
Ooh, I like this.
Ooh,
One,
that's-
Eric.
Julia and Zaya Lee.
I like that.
That's a good
Yeah.
Eric, that's a very good one.
Tasha versus Lola. I
Ooh.
like that. And there's the mayor is floating around, but I don't see him, so I'm kind of waiting till he gets back in screen before we bring him on, because I just hate to bring an empty screen.
We saw 2 people dressed up, so that maybe.
Oh, maybe.
Oh.
Let's see. Well, we'll see if he ever shows back up. Let's see. Great episode 2 of Ashe. Thank you so much, Special Little Nobodies. It was great seeing you in the chat as well. If you guys did not see episode 2 of Ashe Wrestling TV, go back and watch it. Trust me, Ashe Wrestling TV is cinema. Like that's no cap. It is really quite special. So check it out. Let's see. Another mention for Tasha Steelz versus Lola Vice. And wait, someone said, y'all trying to watch the Hardys wrestle in 2025? The Hardys are just a novelty act now. Have you not seen that they're the TNA Tag Team Champions, Eddie? But okay.
And they didn't just slap that on them because of the
No, they're killing it. So
and still one of the most influential tag teams to this day.
Still.
Is Pentagon Jr. showing up tonight on SmackDown? A, it's Pentagon. B, he signed to Raw. Let's see. Hopefully TNA benefits from this partnership. I remember the partnership they had with Fake TK. Oh boy, that was a disaster. Well, Boza, they benefited from dating. The dating phase from June through the rest of 2024 saw TNA post some of its best numbers ever. So they're benefiting tremendously from this. But to that particular point, I think it's a major statement that they have entered into this partnership with WWE. It says an awful lot compared to the partnership that existed initially with AEW. Clearly, there's more for TNA to be able to gain from this partnership than the AEW one, and I think WWE would handle them well. All right, let's see. I had one more. Oh no, that was the thing I was going to mention. Let's get ready to get into this Shield debate.
Oh,
and
the mayor's
ready. The mayor's ready. Okay. All right. Well, let me go ahead and introduce here. I don't. Again, as we've seen for half of this panel, we don't know what's going to happen when they come on screen, but we do know that when debates happen, this is another favorite of mine. He always comes with facts, figures, and reasonable perspective. And I have great respect for that. The mayor is with us. Mayor said.
Oh my God.
I'm sipping.
That's hilarious. That is absolutely hilarious. Oh my.
Okay.
I hear Shield music.
Oh man.
PTSD.
Wow.
Oh my Lord.
Wow.
Here I am.
He's here. Wow. Okay. Okay.
So
Great day.
nice of you to join us this
It's a great day.
evening. So nice of you to join us.
I see a
love
Ula
this.
Fala, but we talking about the Shield today.
I love this. I love this. So we're about to get into this long-awaited debate. We have been waiting to have the conversation to discuss who is the greatest Shield member. Now, for those of you who remember the last time we had a massive debate like this, it was to determine who was the greatest of the 4 horsewomen. That was a very fun debate. Go back and check that out in our archives. But today it is all about determining who is the greatest member of the Shield. Of course, we have Roman Reigns. We've got Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, now known as Jon Moxley. I think this is going to be quite the conversation. We're going to turn it over to the councilman, who is going to kind of share how we will engage in said discussions, and he'll lead us from here.
Thank you, Professor. So yes, the Shield debate, we have a new format that we're going to go, and it's going by a point system. So this is going to determine who, after all the overall points have been given in these particular categories, will determine the ranking of each Shield member. And today, those categories are going to be the in-ring ability of these members, mic skills / charisma, championships and achievements, character evolution, and then legacy and impact. Now, you will rate each of these categories after you've given your reasoning for it in each person on a scale of 1 to 10. We're going to tally all of that up in each category, and whoever has the most points will be determined of who goes in first, second, and third. So, I think the best one for us to start off with is going with in-ring ability.
Side note, is someone keeping track of the time? Because I want to make sure we don't go off the rails in terms of how long the discussions go for each person.
So that was the question I was going to ask you, Professor. As far as giving out your reasoning, do we go 1 minute or 2 minutes?
We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 categories, you said?
5.
Oh, 5. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm looking at 6 from 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, no. I'm sorry. I counted wrong. Okay. All right. We've got 5, and we've got 5 people. Oh, if everybody has 2 minutes, then everybody has 10 minutes, which means 50 minutes. Okay, a 2 minute max. Wait. Let me make sure I do this right. So everybody's going to talk about each category. Is that right?
Yeah, from each.
And they're going to talk about each member with each category.
Yeah.
Oh Lord, 1 minute. 1 minute. 1 minute.
Okay.
We'll be here all night.
Mm.
1 minute. And I'm going. I will gladly keep time. And when your minute is up, matter of fact, I'll tell you what I'll do. I will give you a warning at 45 seconds.
Okay.
When you have gone through 40, when you have 15 seconds remaining, at that 1 minute, we're gonna move on because somebody's got a birthday celebration to get to.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to ensure that they have all the time they need for a celebration.
To the city, y'all.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, this is going to be interesting. So let me guess what you're going to do. I'm going to just ask this. So you will mention a member of the Shield, and then we'll discuss all of these attributes about that particular member. Is that right?
Yes.
Is that how you're going to do that?
Yes.
Okay.
We go ahead and do it just like that. All right. Let's start off again, like I said, with in-ring inability, and we're going to first start off with the Tribal Chief. I'm going to start with Honey. I want you to give us, on a scale of 1 to 10, what is Roman Reigns
in-ring ability? I don't even know what happened there. Did you guys hear that? That was weird.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Do I sound okay? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
cool.
Are you ready?
I think I'm ready.
And the clock starts now.
In-ring ability for Roman Reigns, as far as the number goes, give me number 8.
Right. And why 8 out of 10?
Because all right. 8 because I guess I went high because of the impact and, for something memorable, something that the crowd catches on with, with the ooh-ah scream and the Superman punch and the spear is just something that he does really, really well. He executes it really well. I know he's
15 seconds.
He's much more of a powerhouse kind of guy. So I think I would have to give him this in-ring ability an 8 because it's just more impact, not so much technicality, not too much agility, even though he does dive over the top rope. But
time.
8.
All right. Courtney, on a scale of 1 to 10, Roman's in-ring ability and why you would rate it, what you're going to rate it.
I'm actually going to give him an 8 out of 10 for ring ability, only because he has improved a lot since he came into WWE and has a signature move, staging like the ooh-ah, the spear, the Superman punch, and he has started to show a lot more better. And it has shown that he has improved his craft, especially with the feud that he had when he was champion in 2020.
All right. Mayor, if you could let me know.
And that's only because, and I just want to put that in there.
Professor,
You're Professor. And that's
I was just impressed that you were done in 30 seconds. So
I was
the only one. Oh,
I peeped it.
Let it go. Let it be. Let that be your shining moment. Please let that be.
I will say this for the record. Doing pageantry so much, especially in a time clock, it was practice.
Right.
I'm for it.
Yes,
I'm
love
for
it.
All
right. Mayor, you are up. Scale of 1 to 10. Please rate Roman Reigns' in-ring ability and why.
6. And the reason I say this is because I feel like when you talk about in-ring ability, we're talking about evolution over time, and which is not much. I think sometimes you can be prisoners of how big and monumental a moment is that makes a move look differently. I think about in the NBA of terms of this, like, what are you adding to your bag? What are you adding to your game year after year? With Roman, we haven't seen that. We've seen it get on a bigger stage, but this reminds me of I'm old enough to remember the 5 moves of doom and how that used to be heavily criticized. And like, how come Roman doesn't get that same flack for that? Power style, yes. Executing what you do good, yes. But when I think of in-ring ability, I think about making yourself amiable to all styles of wrestling. Can you adapt with all styles? And that's not something I see with Roman. Not a slight. I just say it would be a 6 when you talk about specifically in-ring ability.
All right. And then, of course, we can't do this without the professor's input in this. So, Professor, on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you rate Roman's in-ring ability?
I'm going with a 7. And I'm going with a 7 on this because, again, much to Ced's point, you've got your basic moves that he's doing. There's not a lot of innovation that we've seen from Roman Reigns over the years. We'll get to some of the others in a little bit, but Roman Reigns, he's still doing the spear. That's what he did when he was in the Shield. He's still doing it now. He's still doing the Superman punch. There has not been much in the evolution of his in-ring ability. He has used more psychology over time during the pandemic era. But in terms of in-ring, yeah, I'd have to give him a 7.
All right. And for myself as well, I'm going to give a 7 for that. I think his psychology is definitely good. I think he's done better at telling a story inside of the ring. But as we said, we haven't seen too much evolution in his move set. Just like a few things have changed and everything. But yeah, I'd have to give him a 7 as far as his in-ring ability.
Okay.
All right. And now we're going to stick with the tribal chief. We're now moving on to mic skills and charisma. Mic skills and charisma. And Mayor, I'm going to start with you first. On a scale of 1 to 10, in Roman Reigns' entire career, where would you rate his mic skills and charisma on the scale of 1 to 10?
Whew, that's tough. The key word to hang out in there is entire career, because it used to be real bad. You can make a case that it was like a 5, but these past several years, this is the place he's grown the most. So for that alone, I'll give him an 8. Not exactly Dwayne Johnson, not exactly Chris Jericho and those likes, but growing enough in that platform to where you're comfortable on the mic with whatever you say, and we hang on to every word and we believe in it. That, I would say, is the biggest part of Roman's game that has carried his career the past 5 to 7 years, is being comfortable on the mic, being convicted with his words. So I'll say 8.
All right. Courtney, scale of 1 to 10. Roman Reigns' mic skills and charisma.
I'm actually going to give him a 7.5 with Roman, because going back to Mayor's point, I remember when he first came on, especially as a face, it was not that great. The mic skills weren't there. The charisma wasn't there. But ever since with Paul Heyman, and for some odd reason, you saw the whole shifting with his mic skills, with his charisma, and everything felt organically. It didn't feel like it was forced as before he joined with Paul Heyman. So he really has shown improvement in ability when it comes to mic, charisma, and just feeling more comfortable on the mic. So I give him a 7.5 out of 10.
All right. Professor, your rate 1 to 10 mic skills and charisma.
So before I give this number, I just want to remind people that if I'm going to make a measurement of anyone based on how they started, no one would ever be a 10. The Rock, go back to Rocky Maivia and his promos. There's a reason they were chanting "Die Rocky Die." Okay, very few people come out the gate swinging, and I'll go so far as to say this: it's not always about how you start; it's about how you finish. And there's no question, ever since we entered this new decade, Roman Reigns has completely changed the game in terms of mic skill and charisma. I mean, what he did during the pandemic, 15 seconds, Gerard, what he's done during the pandemic, and how he has evolved from there in terms of his mic skills, he's a 10.
All right. All right. Honey, the tribal advocate, scale of 1 to 10. Your tribal chief's mic skills / charisma.
I would have to agree with Professor that it is a 10, and I would give him a 10 fully because I would say he's the most improved in the mic skills, being that, it, like he said, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. The reason, if it wasn't for such a bad start, he would never be as good as he is now. And if it wasn't for, the trials and tribulations of all the years that he had put in, being a workhorse himself as well, most improved on the mic for sure. It was something we looked forward to pretty much every Friday when he was champion, when he would show up and completely brag about his title reign and everything like that. And of course, when he was involved with Paul Heyman, it just got better from there.
15 seconds.
So Roman Reigns, my tribal chief, 10.
Yeah, I'm going with 10, and I'm going to use my time to show this as well.
Can't no man knock me out. I'm tired of being humble. I'm tired of letting people think they got a chance. The tribal chief is head and shoulders above everybody. This is my show. This is my camera. I run it all.
God, I get goosebumps still.
I've never heard Seth or Dean Ambrose or John Moxley do that.
Nope.
And we don't use none of their clips. So that should tell you.
One little side note I will add, I'm not even trying to extend my time or anything, but to be able to finally go toe-to-toe with Cena and kill it when he was tribal chief, perfect, because that suffering succotash, we know it wasn't it. That's still cringy.
Ooh, okay.
Bless his heart. Bless his heart.
God bless his heart. All right. The next one for Roman Reigns is championships and achievements. Now, we already know longest reigning universal champion of the modern era, multi-time champion, Grand Slam champion. But that, and with those achievements, where do you rate it on a scale of 1 to 10 between these Shield members? Professor, let's start with you.
So certain things seem obvious. 1,316 days, the fourth longest reign as WWE champion in history. Man, that goes a long, long way. Certainly the longest reign we've seen in the modern era. The problem with that is that there aren't a lot of other championship reigns to talk about. I mean, yes, he's held the WWE championship before, but nothing really significant to talk about. Yes, he's held the tag team title before, he's held the Intercontinental Championship before. My concern when it comes to this championship situation is we don't know what he does outside of WWE in terms of winning champion. Sorry, I'm down to 10 seconds. So I'll simply say this. I cannot negate what he has done, so I'm going to give him a 9.
All right. Courtney, scale of 1 to 10, championships and achievements. Where do you scale this on a 1 to 10?
I kind of have to go back to Professor's point. I am going to give a 9 only because you can't discredit his championship reign in the modern era. You could sugarcoat it, but you can't discredit that. And that's a huge achievement to have. But of course, he was also a tag team champion, Intercontinental champion, United States champion within the WWE umbrella. And this is the only promotion that he had. So with that being said, I'm going to give him a 9 out of 10.
All right. Mayor, scale of 1 to 10 on championships and achievement.
Here in the past to Professor and Courtney, it's kind of, you really can't negate the 16 days and the length of the title reigns. But I do agree that when you look at the landscape of everything else, just based on where he's been positioned leading out of the Shield, there's not much, I don't want to say not much depth with the rest of the title reigns, like boosting other divisions and things like that. He's really been positioned at the top of the card. Majority of the time he's been on main roster. So for that, it's more so the length than how many as well, which you have to really take into consideration. So like, I'm going to go a step lower. I'm going to go 8 just because it's all within one umbrella, but also it's more so like, hey, what he's done lately more so than before that.
Okay. Tribal Advocate, scale of 1 to 10, Roman Reigns championships and achievements.
World champion, longest reigning champion, Grand Slam champion. The Tribal Chief has won both WWE championships and the Universal championships 4 and 3 times as of 2025. That is a total of 7. And we also have, let me see, he also won a tag team championship as well. Of course, obviously the most obvious, the longest reigning champion with over 1,200 days, completely breaking barriers and making history with that title run and doing it all consistently under one promotion. 10.
Okay. I feel like that was some change just slightly, but okay. We go right 10. I also am going to give the Tribal Chief a 10 out of 10 because I know we all focused on championships, but I am more focused on achievements. Royal Rumble winner. I think he's one of the only people, and again, you could correct me if I'm wrong, but one of the only people that actually defended his title in a Royal Rumble. His title was on the line.
And succeeded.
And
no, he did not.
He did not.
Triple H got it.
Corrected. No, he didn't.
Triple H got it. But also too, all of the WrestleManias that he's headlined, being in that upper echelon of beating the Undertaker at WrestleMania. So many ticket gates that he's broken, carrying the
15 seconds.
The pandemic era as well, and the fact that, like you said, from a championship standpoint, he's won every single title. There's no other title that he currently needs to win in WWE. So I give him a 10 out of 10 as far as championships and achievements.
Time.
All right. And with that, though, we are also going to go into Roman Reigns' character evolution from, I'm going to say the big dog, because I don't know what they called him before he became the big dog.
Powerhouse.
The powerhouse. Thank you. From the powerhouse to the tribal
Day
chief.
one.
Rate this character evolution. Honey, we gonna start with you. Rate on a scale of 1 to 10 Roman's character evolution.
Character development and evolution, you best believe it's got to be a 10. I would have to say it's a 10. I would say it's one of the most improved character evolutions throughout time in WWE's history, especially going from Chance with the FU Roman, not letting him speak. It was basically the Dom Mysterio heat times 10. Also won the hearts of many when he decided to be vulnerable and show us his side as Joe. You know, we didn't get just Tribal Chief. We didn't get just Big Dog. We didn't get just Shield Roman Reigns. We also got a bit of Joe when he also revealed that he was battling leukemia, and he's been battling for 11 years and carried the pandemic era in a time where everything was
15
unsure,
seconds.
and then also transforming into what you see here on the right as the Tribal Chief, aligning himself with the likes of Paul Heyman, building his bloodline with his family, and look at where it is now. It's a 10.
Time.
All right. Mayor, scale of 1 to 10, character evolution, Roman Reigns.
This is tough because I want to go 10, but I want to like qualify why I'm going to say what I want to say. He was the golden guy out of the show. He's the one that was always ordained to be the next up. And it took him going away and going through the pandemic and things like that to come back. And also note that my client, Mercedes Moné, and the fourth best horsewoman, Bailey, carried the pandemic, not Roman Reigns, but that's neither here or there. But I'm going to give this a 9 because it's not lost on me that this transformation was a desperation attempt. This transformation also needed to happen. It needed to happen. Roman had such bad heat that he needed to transform, but it's also not lost on me that
15
he needed
seconds.
his entire family to complete this transformation for it to get over. He needed his entire family for us to have a credible storyline under his banner.
5 seconds.
So that's all I'll say. I'll say 9.
Yo, the genuine laugh that just came out of Honey. Oh my God. Please, I hope you clip that, Dylan. Oh my God. The way she felt back at everything. Courtney, scale of 1 to 10, Roman Reigns character evolution.
He has come a long way, because I can say this, being at SummerSlam when he faced off against Brock Lesnar, they were booing him out the building. And I kid you not, it was legit. And seeing him come from here to Tribal Chief, it is very incredible to see that development. And as I mentioned, Paul Heyman took him under his wing, helped him really get comfortable with his charisma, being on the mic, and just really owning the Tribal Chief. And I'm going to give him a 10 out of 10 for development.
All right. Professor, on a scale of 1 to 10, the Tribal Chief's character evolution.
Character evolution, the whole idea of evolution is literally going from one place to another and becoming unrecognizable. It's what the caterpillar does when it becomes the butterfly. You don't even remember that it was a caterpillar. And I think it's important that when we talk about Roman Reigns, while he might have been anointed to be the guy, he wasn't the guy. And he did not become the guy with the assistance of The Rock. He didn't become the guy because he won a Royal Rumble. He became the guy when he went away during the pandemic and came back and decided to be who he was. The overarching evolution of that is something that is simply undeniable. 15 seconds, Gerard. So because of that, and because he went from being the guy we wanted to boo to being the guy we couldn't live without, it's the perfect evolution. That's why the Tribal Chief gets a 10.
All right. I gotta go 10 as well. Just for the simple fact of, like you said, to Bonner's point, he went from and taken away from the guy who had to finish his story with Roman. He went from undesirable to undeniable. And that's what it is. Polarizing figure, icon, whatever it is, all the things we've given the rest of these people that we continue to talk about all the time, like a John Cena, like a Shawn Michaels, Roman Reigns has etched himself in there based off of this character evolution that he's done. And it is an epic story. If you broke this into seasons 1 to now, it's something I'd have told you. I'd have watched all these seasons. We got a pretty good run with him. So I have to give him a 10 out of 10 with that for the Tribal Chief. And our last one is Legacy and Impact.
Oh, please.
Rate his legacy and impact.
Please.
On a scale of what
Why is this been a debate?
Well, I'm going to start with Mayor first on this one. Legacy and impact. What do you rate on a scale of 1 to 10 his legacy and impact?
I need a qualifier. So are we saying that we can't tell the story of pro wrestling without Roman Reigns?
I think it's your call to determine what that looks like.
Okay, so if we're going from that standpoint, like we can't tell the story without the Roman Reigns era. Listen, the show continued when Roman Reigns was gone. That's because of the machine that's the WWE. So I'm not going to go that far, but I will say that this storyline, I've already qualified that he needed the rest of his family for this to be credible. It wasn't just him; it was a collective. So I'm not going to go 10 for that reason, but for the title reigns, becoming the longest reigning champion in the modern era, and I think they really wanted him to pass Hogan. Nobody's going to pass San Martino because it's just not realistic in today's era of wrestling.
15 seconds.
I will go 9 because just that alone, when I look at the money and all the gates that he's had, all the WrestleMania main events that he's had, how much money the WWE is pulling in, you have to tell that story with Roman.
Time.
All right. Courtney, on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you rate the Tribal Chief's legacy and impact?
If we take a look back on his legacy and everything he's done from his debut up until now, and also it's very crucial because during that 2020 pandemic, and yes, he stepped away for a bit, but when he came back and was champion, and also taking it to the next level when everything was normal, and also with the fact he was on ESPN and breaking into mainstream media, that is also a big win as well. So that's something that you can't consider some of the appearances like on ESPN and other related national media. So for me, I'm actually going to give him a 9.5 when it comes to legacy and impact.
This is why we did the Tribal Chief first. So because I knew Honey was gonna be like this. This is why I went first with him. So we can get this out. Professor, what do you rate his legacy and impact on a scale of 1 to 10?
Legacy and impact. So consider this. The last 5 years have been some of the most pivotal in the history of WWE. They've brought their largest gate. They've had record attendance, record merch, record numbers. They sold the company and they're a $1 billion company. And with all of that, let me just ask you this. If you had a football team that went to the Super Bowl 9 times, you'd probably call them the greatest of all time. If you had a basketball team who went to the championships 9 times, you have a baseball team that wins the World Series 9 times, you're going to call them the greatest. 15 seconds, Gerard. So with that said, Roman Reigns, 9 WrestleManias, all of these titles, and in terms of the family, gave us the greatest storyline and the longest running storyline we've seen in years. He's a 10.
Jeffrey, you in timeout. You are in timeout. You are in timeout. I need you to go to timeout and think about what you have done. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. For myself, because I'm gonna save Honey for last, this is the last one for Roman Reigns. I'm gonna also give it a 10, just because of the fact for myself, it is all about how you leave something after you came here. And even though the record-breaking championship run, I'm more focused on even what Mayor said. Yes, his family had to. He couldn't have done it without his family, but also too, look what he did for his family. Main event Jey Uso is fighting for a world title at Saturday Night Main Event on NBC. If this was 10 years ago, you would have never said that out loud live on television. The only person to ever give Cesaro a championship opportunity after being there for years, reigniting the fire in Kevin Owens. This man has been able to put a lot of folks that would have stuck in the back of catering for a little bit longer. He decided to give them a shot, and now they are our top superstars right now. So
5 seconds.
The legacy has to be a 10 out of 10 and the impact. Now,
time.
The tribal advocate. I don't know why you keep looking away. What do you rate this on the scale of 1 to 10?
I think we all know exactly what I rate this. And this is also, to be fair, Roman Reigns didn't come in counting on his name to make an impact. It took Roman time to grow into who he truly was, and this is what he was meant to be. Greatness, he has said on numerous occasions, he's just a man that's addicted to greatness, and look at the greatness that he has provided us with such great TV, main eventer, reinventing himself, crossover star, cancer survivor, most dominant star in the modern era. Classic matches, classic moments, unforgettable moments. John Cena putting over the likes, building up and putting over the likes of the twins, the Usos, Sami Zayn, building more characters out, and also helping Paul Heyman reinvent his legacy as well. So Roman Reigns has never had to rely on his name.
Time.
He's still the GOAT. 10.
All right. I'm going to hold the totals until we reach the end of the debate. But we have gone through the tribal chief, and now it is time to move to the next Shield member. He has been known as an architect. He has been known as a messiah. He is known to have been burning it down. The guy has had many monikers, but we all know him as of currently as Seth freaking Rollins. And now I want to start, of course, back to the top of the category, and I want to go with in-ring ability. And this is going to get very interesting. Courtney, let's start with you. On a scale of 1 to 10, Seth Rollins' in-ring ability.
When we talk about in-ring ability with Seth, he's actually able to develop different styles of wrestling. As with Roman, it's a few things, but with Seth, he's very versatile. He could do submissions, groundwork, a little bit of high flying in between, and really can work with different styles of wrestlers in that caliber. So for me, Seth really has shown and really could put that ability in. So I'm going to give him a 9 out of 10 for in-ring.
All right. Professor, on a scale of 1 to 10, Seth Rollins' in-ring ability.
I think it's safe to say that of these three, Seth Rollins is the workhorse in ring. He is the guy who is going to wow you and dazzle you with he can battle anybody in almost any style. If you want to fly high, he can do that. If you want to do power, he can do that. It's not a surprise that he has his own wrestling school, because if you're going to build a pro wrestler, you probably want to build him in ring to be much like Seth freaking Rollins. You put him in the ring against a broom, it's going to be a great match. There is not a bad match that you can go back to and see Seth Rollins on the other end. So for that reason, I give him a 10 with 15 seconds remaining.
All right. I'm very quick with mine. 10, just for what y'all said. Overall ring ability, being able to just create moves on the fly. And, you know, this could also be another debate, but give me a bad Seth Rollins match, and I doubt you can really find one. So I would definitely say 10 out of 10 for Seth Rollins. Mayor, scale of 1 to 10, Seth Rollins' in-ring ability.
I'm not going to be petty because I was going to give you a bad Seth Rollins match, but out of the three people here, this is the only one deserving of a 10. It's the only one deserving of a 10. This is the only person that has the versatility to work any style. He can work high fly. He can work lucha. He can work power game. There was once upon a time where I thought Seth was a swagger jacker, because I would see him steal somebody's finisher literally every month. But he would make those moves his own. And it just shows the credibility he has to pull this stuff out and the work that he puts into the ring. So for simple reasons, he's a 10 as far as in-ring ability goes.
All right. Honey, scale of 1 to 10, the Architect's in-ring ability.
Let's see. This is Seth freaking Rollins. I wasn't born yesterday. If you remember him as Tyler Black from NXT or in the Indies as well, you know exactly what this man brings to the ring. He's technically more agile, definitely more versatile, and definitely a moment maker and a game changer when it comes to putting on a good story in the ring. And he's always been a great sell as well. I would definitely be dumb to say anything other than 10 for Seth freaking Rollins.
All right. So that is that category. Now we are moving on to mic skills and charisma. Mic skills and charisma for the Seth Rollins. Mayor, let's start with you. On a scale of 1 to 10, Seth Rollins' mic skills and charisma.
That's kind of tough because I feel like in earlier parts of his career, like during the actual Shield, he wasn't much of a talker. I feel like he became more of a talker during his time in the Authority and after that, and then got more comfortable going bar for bar, trading jabs with almost anybody. For that, I'll say 8. I think he's definitely a charismatic superstar. You're seeing that more with this current iteration of him, and he's very good at balancing his act, balancing his gimmick. So I think he can go toe-to-toe for anybody on the mic. But I'll say 8.
All right. Honey, scale of 1 to 10, Seth Rollins' mic skills and charisma.
I think I might have to agree with Seth. It's probably going to be the only thing we agree on today. 8 for Seth Rollins, for sure. I think especially when he broke out from the pack and betrayed the tribal chief, who wasn't the tribal chief at the time, but he betrayed his band of brothers in the Shield. He definitely, his stock definitely rose as far as what he can do and say on the mic, and his charisma as well. He got very, very comfortable really quickly, and it almost came naturally to him, I think. And I think it was just that he was just waiting to be able to carry that torch, and, you know, being under the wing of Triple H and the corporation, you know, the corporate Seth Rollins and his J&J security
15
moment.
seconds.
Also, even the whole thing with Sting, the return of Sting, and how big that was in that moment. His matches with Finn Balor were amazing, and of course, any match with him and CM Punk or Roman Reigns. I mean, I know there's a lot more names I'm not naming, but Seth Rollins is going to have to get a 8.
All right. Courtney, scale of 1 to 10, Seth Rollins' mic skills.
Seth really has come a long way, because when he first started on the Shield, he didn't talk that much, but seeing him being comfortable with himself, out of his shell, he has really shown a lot of growth. And especially in the pandemic, it has helped him a lot to really cut out with his character. And especially now with him being Seth freaking Rollins, everybody singing his theme song as the crowd goes, and just really embracing that audience. And also, as Honey pointing out, some matches that he had with, of course, Sting, Finn Balor at SummerSlam. So he has shown really a little bit of growth, and actually excited on moving forward on where he has to go. So I give him an 8.5 out of 10.
You and these halves, Courtney.
I kind of want to take back one, but I don't. I want to be a woman of my word.
Professor, on a scale of 1 to 10, Seth Rollins' mic skills and charisma.
You know, the thing about rating these artists, and I like to call them that, is we do have to look at their full development. And I think in this particular space, obviously everybody has room to grow, as we talked about with Roman Reigns last time. But to me, I believe it was John Cena who talked about your best match is your last match. What have you done for me lately? And so when I think about the round of promos we've been seeing with Seth and Drew and Seth and CM Punk, he has really found a way to talk well and connect with the audience. And he's done that whether we liked him or not for years. So for that, I give him a 9.
All right. Myself, there's no way you don't give the Architect a 10. There's no way. Since he joined the Authority, he has always managed to keep all eyes on him, even when being in the mic, even when talking. charisma is off the chain. It just bleeds into the audience. Even when you loved him, when you hate him, you were in tune. This man did not make you want to defer away from your screens. And even where he is now, even with the song and how he's able to control them with the song, when to sing it, when to stop it, everything. Like, that is a gift not too many people have. And so I have to say, every time he comes out, even with them big ass boots and going into Becky Lynch's closet and wearing whatever she got on, the man's charisma is up here. So I have to give him a 10.
Shout outs to King Troy for the fashion.
Absolutely.
Yes, indeed. All right. So our next thing we are going into, and I'm very interested in where y'all rating this. Seth Rollins championships and achievements. The list is very long. All right. Double champion, WWE champion, US champion, which he defeated John Cena for. The greatest heist of all time, cashing in Money in the Bank at WrestleMania against Brock Lesnar, Grand Slam champion, tag team champion. The list goes on. Royal Rumble winner. Just to name a few things. I have to say, I'll start with you, Courtney. On a scale of 1 to 10, Seth Rollins championships and achievements.
You can't deny all the success that Seth has had so far with the Money in the Bank cashing against Brock Lesnar, being able to defeat John Cena. Also, with the situation happening with Roman when he held that reign, he was the workhorse for the World Heavyweight Championship during that time. He helped captivate that title on Raw and face off against Drew, and then now it's being held by Gunther. So he has really created a legacy on that. But for that, I'm going to give him a 10 out of 10.
All right. Honey, a scale of 1 to 10, Seth Rollins championships and achievements.
I'm not going to give this a 10. Not all the way an outright 10. I'm going to have to give this an 8. I feel like there was a lot of moments with Seth. Maybe it was just me personally, but there was just a lot of moments with Seth that were hit and miss. I think he revamped himself, especially when he won this specific world title and renamed himself as the workhorse title. I think he had a lot more to prove, especially because he was the first one to hold that title. It did make a great impact. Of course, the Money in the Bank cash-in is probably one of the greatest things you could remember about Seth for pulling off the heist of the century. He was also a Grand Slam champion, winner of the Royal Rumble, Money in the Bank holder, multiple time WWE Universal champion. 8 for Seth.
Mayor, on a scale of 1 to 10, championships and achievements for Seth Rollins.
He's a decorated guy. I'm going to be simple and say 8 because I have seen him do it across multiple brands. He was the first holder of this belt here, first NXT champion, was a Ring of Honor champion in the past as well. He's very decorated when you talk about his accolades and accomplishments. I think what's the drawback from like a 9 or a 10 for me is like the moments that those titles carried in the aftermath. What was the impact of them during the reign, which draws it back a little bit for me. But he's decorated as all hell. And he's a solid hand, which is why he's always at the top of the card.
All right. Professor, your scale 1 to 10, championships and achievement.
I will simply say this. Becoming the first doesn't always make you the best. And I would say Seth Rollins is a better wrestler than he is champion. So for that reason, I give him an 8.
That's valid. That's super valid.
All right. I'm going to give him a 9 because if you're giving the tribal chief a 10, he definitely deserves a 9 because the only thing over him right now is that longest reign. And I would even argue that Seth's championships runs were way better than Roman's runs. So if you are going to give it a 10, I have to give Seth a 9.
Where is it? The barbershop window.
All right, so who was the better Intercontinental champion, Roman or Seth?
We're gonna base it on the Intercontinental title.
Oh boy,
I'm just like, no, that's
a drawback for Roman, though, that he doesn't elevate other other
But
spots on the card.
but I think, and we're going over time, but I think Roman's situation, his championship reign was so significant and so massive. I mean, yeah,
That's why it's a 10.
because
That's
there's
a 10.
another point that I'm going to make that I'll make later. So yeah,
Yeah, that's what
I'll
I'm saying.
save it
It's
for
a
then.
10. I can't give Rollins a 10 from the fact that you don't hold that, and that's just a fact. But there is someone that you can talk about with that when we come up, and I'm curious if it will be brought up. But our next thing is character evolution. From looking like someone hit him upside the head with a bottle of peroxide to Seth freaking Rollins. How do you rate this character evolution on a scale of 1 to 10? Professor, let's start with you.
All right. So evolution, I mean, it's very, very clear he has evolved and evolved well. He's had a lot of we've talked about Chris Jericho over time being the author of reinvention. I think Seth has done a great job of not so much reinventing himself, but really evolving. This is still very much a recognizable Seth Rollins, but he's tapped into different elements of his personality, from, of course, being the architect to being the Monday Night Messiah to this particular space right now. He managed to get us to both love him and hate him significantly. And again, he's one of the most popular wrestlers right now. 15 seconds, Gerard. So because of that, and because the people were singing his song before they were singing Cody's, yeah, it's been pretty significant. I give him a 9.
I hope Dion heard that.
It's true.
Just one more time. What'd you give him out of the scale?
I gave him a 9.
9. Okay. Courtney, on a scale of 1 to 10, Seth Rollins' character evolution.
Seth really had a very interesting growth in his character because, of course, we've seen him when he was with the Shield. Then he was the architect. Then he was the Monday Night Messiah. Now he's Seth freaking Rollins. So there has shown a lot of growth and also innovation towards the character that he had, on top of some of the title matches that he had, and just seeing him being more comfortable on the mic with his skills and charisma. So for evolution wise, I am going to give him a 9 out of 10.
All right. Honey, scale of 1 to 10, Seth Rollins' character evolution.
I'm actually going to give Seth character evolution rating number 10. He's actually been one of my favorite wrestlers to watch evolve into what he is today. He's definitely come out of the shell of being, the one that doesn't speak in the Shield, the one that doesn't speak much, to certainly being the one who's the most outspoken out of the group. Monday Night Messiah was a particular favorite time of mine. Loved him as the architect, loved him when he was working with Triple H and had J&J Security, of course, being one of the most hated men on the roster. And we thoroughly enjoy him as the visionary, the revolutionary, Seth freaking Rollins. And I think it's just been a great bit of growth that we've seen come from
15
him.
seconds.
We've talked about him in the likes of, being the next or this generation's Shawn Michaels. So I would say 10 for Seth Rollins.
5 seconds.
All right. Mayor, scale of 1 to 10, character evolution.
You can make the case that his character evolutions and changes have been more stark than Roman's, like completely different from the one previous. My favorite of his is Monday Night Messiah. I think we've been on the visionary a little bit too long, in my opinion, but I'll go 9 just because he's leaned into it so much that he's allowed this flamboyant personality to show up in his attire, to show up in ring, and show up in his promos. I think for that alone, he's found a version of himself that does have some staying power when you look at it maybe 20 years from now. But when he might even forget that he was the architect. So I'll go 9. And I think he's very good at reinventing himself. So I will say that. I think I'm looking forward to the next iteration that he does come up with and how it latches on with an audience.
I bet you it's going to be great. And he reinvents himself this year because he's going a downward spiral.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Storyline wise.
I too am going to give Seth a 10 just because of the character evolution. Well, let me say the stages. I think there have been more recognizable stages of Seth Rollins out of all three Shield members, from not just the moniker, but the clothing, the background, even just slight changes in the music. Like, I think there's been so much of those changes to where it all still came together and worked, whether you loved them or hate them. And to be able to withstand through all those times, and even to come back from injuries, to be able to do that and still be able to hold the crowd and be at the top of the card, means you're doing something right. So I have to give him a 10 out of 10 as far as character evolution goes. Now, our last one for Seth Rollins is going to be Impact and Legacy. And Mayor, I want to start with you. On a scale of 1 to 10, what is Seth Rollins' impact and legacy?
Whew, that's tough, because in this era, you can really make the case at any time that he is arguably the best performer in the world. Now, you can really make that claim. But as far as legacy, it's tough because of the generation he's in. He's always going to be looked at a good player number 2. And when you look at Roman and everything else that Roman's done, we talk about the Gates, things like that. So I will say, damn, that's tough. I'm going to say 8, just because I want to say that he's a great performer. But when you look at the history of the WWE, like, I can't compare him to Hickenbottom. When you talk about like big moments like that has been curated over
15
time.
seconds.
So I will say like, I'll say 8. Yeah, for legacy. Just there's been better performers like throughout the years of WWE.
5 seconds.
All right. Honey, scale of 1 to 10, legacy and impact, Seth Rollins.
I think I'm just gonna keep it short and sweet and simple. 9. Because he's up there. He's definitely up there. He definitely has a legacy to leave. I think he's one half of a very big legacy that he's going to be leaving, because, of course, Becky Lynch as well. But we're not talking about Becky. We're talking about Seth. But 9 for Seth. There's too many moments that he's had. Great moments too.
All right. Professor, scale of 1 to 10, Seth Rollins, legacy and impact.
So Seth Rollins has been a tremendous wrestler. However, he has not been the guy that they can put the rocket ship on. They've tried it. He's never been the face of the company. And some could blame Roman Reigns for that. But here's the deal. If you're the face, and you're going to rise no matter who is there. And so I think it's unfortunate that Seth will, claim that he's the macho man to, this Hogan situation. But the truth of it is, if you don't have it, you don't have it. He's 7-6 at WrestleMania. Do you consider the Buffalo Bills a great team because they made it to the Super Bowl but lost 4 times? No, you don't. 15 seconds, Gerard. So, with that said, Seth Rollins gets a whopping 7 because his legacy will always be number 2.
Ooh.
Okay.
Check it out.
Courtney?
Ooh.
Courtney, Seth Rollins, legacy and impact.
I'm just gonna say this, and I'm not gonna be long on this. Seth has really did a lot in his legacy, not just in the ring, but also outside the ring with his own wrestling school. But also, everybody can make a case for him, especially if Roman's title reign overshadowed him. But he also created memorable moments that will live over time and also inspire the next generation moving forward. But overall, I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10.
All right. I'm going to go with the professor, 7 out of 10. And I'm just going to say it like this because I can't explain it in under 1 minute. I can tell the story of wrestling without Seth Rollins.
Boom. There it is.
I agree with that too.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Yeah. I can tell the entire story of wrestling without Seth Rollins.
I think basically Dylan hit it on the head right here. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Yeah. Great. When you talk about if you want to go with a great player, by all means, always a great secondary player. You are the Dennis Rodman of the WWE. But when we tell the story of the NBA, Dennis Rodman is going to get brought up for other things. No, Scottie Pippen.
Definitely Scottie Pippen.
Scottie Pippen. Y'all know I don't know rest. I don't know other sports that well. I'm sorry. Like Scottie Pippen.
So you're saying Roman is Jordan.
Time.
I mean, I'm
just asking.
I mean, he's saying Seth is Luigi.
We gotta get to the last one.
We do gotta get
because we're actually doing good. So
yes, we are. All right. So the last one we have up is that he's gone by the unhinged. I don't remember that name. I'm just gonna be
Lunatic Fringe.
Lunatic Fringe.
He was formerly known as Dean Ambrose. Left a prestigious company, went to go put another one on his back, and transformed into who we know now as Jon Moxley. Now, I want to start with Jon Moxley's in-ring performance. What do you rate Jon Moxley's in-ring performance? Mayor, we're going to start with you.
You know what? That's funny. I would say that Jon Moxley's been such a workhorse for the AEW brand, and you can argue he was in WWE as well, just on a different plateau as the previous two Shield members. When you say in-ring performance, I think this is something that he's developed at. Like, we're not doing lunatic lariats and things like that anymore. He's gone into a more realistic style of performing, where it's leaning on violence, leaning on his background in jiu-jitsu, where he's actually placed and won and medaled in jiu-jitsu tournaments in this country. So it shows that he's trying to bring a different style of flow to his in-ring ability. I'm not going to rank it super high. I'm going to say 7, because I know people are pretty critical about that, but I think it's because it's not as flashy and flamboyant as other people's in-ring style. It's more ground and pound, more subs than anything.
All right. Courtney, scale of 1 to 10, Jon Moxley's in-ring ability.
I will say, watching him from Dean Ambrose and into Moxley, he has improved wrestling-wise. He has gotten a little bit better, and just seeing the growth and the shift and doing the groundwork, submission, not much so the high flying in between. And like Mayor pointed out, it's not flashy as you would get from a Seth or a Roman standpoint, but he is working the ground game and also supporting the AEW brand since it first started. So for me, I'm going to give him a solid 8 for in-ring ability.
All right. Professor, scale of 1 to 10, Jon Moxley's ring ability.
It's so interesting because you really can see a stark contrast between Dean Ambrose and Jon Moxley. And I think a lot of that is what happens when you are confident in who you are and you feel comfortable being who you are. His style is not what many would call like this amazing style. You know, you're not going to get flashy moves. You're not going to get a lot of technical things, but he really is a throwback to the wrestler who was a fighter. You know, this is a guy that not only wrestled in AEW, but decided to go back to a GCW. He decided to do death matches. He decided to be involved in blood sport. He's a fighter. And that's one of the things that makes wrestling great. 15 seconds, Gerard. So because of that, the whole idea here is to be the tough man. He's the tough man. So I give him a 9.
All right. Honey, scale of 1 to 10, Jon Moxley's in-ring ability.
In-ring ability. I've always enjoyed seeing the growth of Dean Ambrose to Jon Moxley, because I always knew that once I saw Jon Moxley, I was like, oh, that's who you really are. That was I saw shades of it as Dean Ambrose, that lunatic fringe thing, especially when he went solo on his own. And they did the double turn on, or something like that, when he turned on Seth Rollins and Roman, and became, you know, the basically Bane for a moment. But there was a lot of things that I felt that he wanted us to see in WWE that he didn't get to show us because of course, the times that we were in. But like you said, Professor, he does belong in that fighting style and a lot of that old school realm of wrestlers. I think I might have to give him an
5 seconds.
8. I'm gonna give him a safe 8, also because I like the psychology and like the way he moves and kind of like
Time.
It's unorthodox. Perfect word. Thank you, Jeffrey. That's what I was looking for.
I'm also going to give him a 8 out of 10, just for the simple fact of being able to bring back that old school style. Like Moxley's finisher is a DDT, and if you've never been DDT before, that'll take you out.
It hurts.
And he makes it look very realistic, and I think that is something very refreshing, especially in the company he's in, where they just do 18 finishers in one match and the guy is still on his feet. So for him to be able to like, let me take you out with a DDT, I think that holds very high. So matter of fact, I'm not even gonna give him an 8. I'm gonna give him a 9 just because of that. Because of the fact that you can do that and you're the current world champion over there at AEW. So I'm gonna give him a 9. Now we're gonna move on to mic skills and charisma. Courtney, I'm going to start with you. On a scale of 1 to 10, rate Jon Moxley's mic skills and charisma.
I'm going to say this: he wasn't the best talker as Dean, but he has shown some growth between that and into Jon Moxley. And the one thing I will say when it came to mic skills, he was very, very threatening and serious. And that was something that he really did when he was in AEW. And you saw some of the rivalries that he had with Kenny Omega, little bit of Darby Allin, MJF, freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy, and really shown a little bit of growth on just showing that, he's very serious. He's comfortable in his skin. He's starting a lot more confidence. So I will give him a solid 8 out of 10.
All right. Honey, your 1 out of 10 rating for mic skills and charisma of Jon Moxley.
This is going to be another simple, short and sweet kind of answer, and I'm just going to give him a 7. I'm just going to keep it right in the middle there, and strictly based off the fact that I can't even remember a memorable mic moment from Dean Ambrose or Jon Moxley.
Okay. Mayor, scale of 1 to 10. Jon Moxley's mic skills and charisma.
Here's what we're not going to do. We're not going to discredit the one thing that Jon has always had, and that's mic skills. He was the talker of the Shield. He was the one that delivered the promos. He was the one we always wanted with the mic in the Shield. I'm not going to go as far as to say that his promos are going to be the most epic and memorable, but I'm going to say that he's a 9 because this is the one quality he has never really had to work on. He's had this inherently as a character in both brands. 9.
All right. Professor, scale of 1 to 10. Jon Moxley's mic skills and charisma.
It's interesting because the challenge for Jon Moxley, particularly as he came over to AEW, is to basically show the world this is who I really am. And the only way he really had to do that was to be able to talk. The intriguing thing about his mic skills, particularly in AEW, is that is the land that does not know how to do a promo. No offense, but they generally don't. They freestyle and either you have it or you don't. And so he really stands out in that particular space. And it's one of the reasons I believe that AEW says, hey, carry the ball 4 different times. And in terms of a memorable promo from him, 15 seconds, Gerard, it's this. When he came back from the whole drinking spell and he shared his heart, we were all the way with him. Jon Moxley gets a 9.
Okay. I'm going to give him an 8 just for simply because when he was Dean Ambrose, he kept trying to sound like the Joker, and I didn't like that. Every time he got on the mic, it was like, I got these scars. That's all I kept hearing. That's all I was waiting for him to say. That's the only thing he was missing. But because of that, I do say 8 because of everything Professor just said and to what the mayor said. For the character that he is, his mic skills match perfectly. Sinister, menacing, like I would say this is what Jake the Snake would have loved to have been if he were here right now. And Jake the Snake's promos were very menacing. It always had you intrigued. And like to Professor's point, in a place where they don't have no structure like that, where it is freestyle, Moxley does an incredible job for it. So I'm going to have to give him an 8 when it comes to mic skills and charisma. But please stop trying to sound like the Joker.
5 seconds.
Now this one is gonna be the very, very interesting one where I know the mayor is ready to shine. Championships and achievements. Courtney, I'm gonna start with you first on this one. On a scale of 1 to 10, Jon Moxley's championships and achievements, where do you rate it?
For me, this not so different than Seth and Rowan, but with Jon, he was able to achieve outside of WWE, not just with WWE, not just with AEW. He also achieved in New Japan, IWPG champion,
IWGP.
Yes, IWPG, two-time
IWGP.
IWPG, United States champion, IWPG. This is going to be
IWGP.
You down with OPP?
Say it 5 times fast.
Oh God, I'm just gonna leave it at that. New Japan. I'm just gonna leave it at that. He achieved in New Japan. He achieved in AEW, and I will say, it's not about how you carry the belt. It's also how you create. And also, I will say he gave memorable rivalries as well. But I will give him a 9 out of 10 for championship.
Well, that word fucked you up.
It just really did.
That word whooped your ass.
Oh God, that was good to me.
You in the corner.
It kept happening over and over too.
Oh, throw in the towel. He can't go no more.
Oh my God, I get tears.
Oh, all right, Professor. On a scale of 1 to 10, Moxley's championships and achievements.
So to me, this is one of the super strong suits for Jon Moxley. Again, the courage that it took to leave the highly established WWE and head elsewhere and to become world champion. He is the only man to ever hold the WWE, AEW, and IWGP world championships. He's the only one in the world. Name some other wrestler. They've never done it. That says that the 3 biggest promotions in the world respect you. He has been the flag bearer for this new company, AEW, 4-time world champion there. To me, his championships, his accomplishments outweigh them all. He gets a 10.
All righty. Honey, on a scale of 1 to 10, Jon Moxley's championships and achievements.
I will agree with the professor. This is probably one of well, for me anyway, the only strong suit for Jon Moxley, being the greatest because he has transcended past WWE. He has also brought, by doing this, he proved that he doesn't need the machine to be the top guy, even though he is for a certain machine. Yeah, I mean, like you said, Professor, nobody can say that they've won all those titles in WWE as well as AEW title. So 10.
All right. I too am going
to
It's like it looked like you did not want to get him that baby.
I mean, all right, listen, if you're focusing on breaking boundaries and succeeding outside of WWE with titles and everything, accomplishments, Jon Moxley is definitely a 10. I understand that. I'm not living under a rock like most people.
Yeah, I too have to give it a 10 because I'm gonna save Mayor for last. I have to also give it a 10. Just not even that, but also too, I think if memory serves me correct, he's still the longest reigning U.S. champion in WWE. I don't know if somebody has taken that over, but if they haven't, he still holds that title. So just as far as achievements go and being able to, like you said, leave the machine and to be respected over in New Japan, which is definitely no joke. And it is very hard for especially WWE wrestlers to transition over. The man that's been around the world has put his stamp in, and even being able to change from the character he had to now, like, those achievements are just you can't argue with that. So I'm also going to go with a 10 out of 10. Mayor, scale of 1 to 10, Jon Moxley's championships and achievements.
It's my camera.
Yes.
Okay.
Let me take.
Listen. 4-time AEW champion. He's the stir that straws the drink in AEW. They can't continue without Jon Moxley. We have seen this. Not only that, Professor already touched on this. He's the IWGP World Champion. That means He's been a champion on multiple continents, that multiple brands have said that he is the guy. Not to mention PWI's most popular wrestler of the year in 2014, 2015, and 2022. Sports Illustrated Wrestler of the Year in 2019. He has accolades. Maybe we just want to ignore them because they're not on the greatest scale. Do you know that in the Bible in Proverbs 16:32, it says, better to a patient man than a man who stirs up and tries to conquer a city? That man is more than reliable. When that man wants a day off, he says, you know what? I got to feed the family. And the family is not just Renee and that baby. It's AEW. That man showing up to work all the time. Hasn't had a break yet. His accolades rule above everybody else's because he's doing it on a larger scale. We want representation in wrestling. You cannot tell the story of pro wrestling without Jon Moxley on any of these continents. 10.
Well, because you lose it, you never win.
Oh, boy!
That stuff is.
Yeah!
Says about to pound the streets.
This is
Why?
Wow.
Why?
Wow. How?
Honey, you better than that. Honey, you are
not after the Bible verse, though.
I'm saying, though. I mean.
That blazer has done something to you.
I'm innocent.
All right, we're going to move on to character evolution.
My Lord.
Good Lord.
From a lunatic to more of a lunatic.
From one lunatic to the next.
Another lunatic. There, we'll start with you on this one. As far as character development goes, on a scale of 1 to 10, where do you rate it?
This is the tough one because some people might argue that it hasn't really been that much of a change, or it's not as aggressive as the previous two. I'll say that. This is where I'll go. Like, I agree with the professor. And a lot of you said that he became more of himself. He wasn't able to show himself in WWE the way he wanted to. Hell, they had him he was like Corey J for a minute. Bubble jacket. They had him dressing like Macklemore towards the end of his run, wearing gas mask.
I'm gonna pop sometime.
So I will say that the way he was able to reformat our brains to who he is now, and that character has so much staying power that he's atop so many brands in the world, I will say 8.5.
15 seconds.
That's all right. 8.5.
Honey, your scale 1 to 10, Jon Moxley character evolution.
I'm gonna give him a 9 because I feel like gradually growing into going from the Shields and then into the Lunatic Fringe solo and then going into who he is as Jon Moxley. I just feel like it was kind of basically the reverse of what we talked about with the previous two. I feel like Jon Moxley was in there all along, and we just needed to see the right promotion let him pull that character that he needed out to be able to show that extension of himself. So I will give him a solid 9 because, I mean, just look at the pictures alone. That it's final boss level Jon Moxley on the right. So for sure, 9.
Professor, scale of 1 to 10, Jon Moxley's character evolution.
The thing about character evolution is this: it is much like life. We are all aspiring to determine and figure out exactly who we are. Mm-hmm. And once you tap into who you are, the world changes. Think about it. We aren't talking about stunning Steve Austin. We aren't talking about the ringmaster. We're talking about Stone Cold Steve Austin. We're not talking about Dean Ambrose at this point. We're not talking about a lunatic fringe. That wasn't your 4-time world champion that you could build a company around. It's this version of Dean Ambrose that manages to take a world title, put it in a briefcase, and we still look at it as a world championship. This man is special, and he's gone on in 15 seconds or less to go ahead and lead his own faction, which Seth couldn't do. Roman could only do with his family. These people aren't his family. Lunatic fringe or not, give him a 10.
Okay. I too am gonna have to agree with that sentiment. And he gave the perfect reference, Professor did. I get nothing but Stone Cold Steve Austin vibes when I see this. To go from something that kind of worked to be able to fully get comfortable with it, like, this is just amazing. I also have to give Moxie a 10 out of 10 for that, just because this is where you are, and everyone gets excited when you come out. Everybody does that thing. It's dope to see. You know, whether you don't like the in-ring ability as much, it is still just that pop, and that's the vibe I get from him. So I'm gonna give him 10 out of 10. Courtney, on a scale of 1 to 10, character evolution for Jon Moxley, your current AEW champion.
This is always the fun part when it comes to professional wrestling on character evolution. And he has come a long way from being the lunatic fridge and seeing him as Jon Moxley. And even when he had Wild Thing, the crowd would go crazy. Whether he was a heel, whether he was a face, the fans still love him. And you can't deny that on showing a lot of growth and also really kind of captivating some of the AEW originals on the forefront. And also, a fact, he gave one of my clients, OC, his first ever pay-per-view main event at All Out for the AEW International Championship. So that is also a bonus as well. So for me, I'm giving him a 10 out of 10 for evolution.
All right. And last and certainly not least, legacy and impact of Jon Moxley. Courtney, Courtney, I will start with you. Legacy and impact on a scale of 1 to 10.
This is really interesting to see because we looked at Seth and we also looked at Romans as well. But Moxley is very interesting with the fact that he wrestled outside of WWE with not just AEW, but also New Japan as well. And just seeing the growth and also for him to be open with everything that he was struggling with substance and alcohol abuse, that is vulnerability right there. And also, as I mentioned, really captivating and taking it to the next level. Sure, he hasn't done a lot of things on the mainstream side, but when he's in the ring, he goes all out and also helping and supporting the AEW brand. So for me, I'm giving him a 9.
All right. Professor, scale of 1 to 10, legacy and impact of Jon Moxley.
As we've said earlier, can you tell the story of pro wrestling without this particular superstar? You cannot tell the story of the WWE, particularly 1/3 of the Shield, without Dean Ambrose. And you certainly cannot tell the story of AEW, the alternative, without Jon Moxley. What he has done as the only man to win those 3 major championships is significant. To achieve this level of success after your WWE run, it's why we respect Cody Rhodes. It's why we respect Drew McIntyre. We have to put the same level of respect on the name of this man, Jon Moxley, who, by the way, if we're speaking of Cody, 15 seconds left, if we're speaking of Cody, he carried the company that Cody created when Cody was no longer there. He was the only man fit to do it. So for that reason, he gets a 10.
All right. Honey, on a scale of 1 to 10, Jon Moxley's legacy and impact.
Given the undeniable success of his transformation into becoming Jon Moxley and the impact he's had on AEW, also with, having moments with the Shield, I feel like there was a lot more that I know he could have offered in WWE, but unfortunately, due to circumstances, they didn't see it that way. So then on to AEW, on to New Japan, and anywhere else. I think anything this man touches, it can turn to gold, obviously, because he's the one with the gold. I would have to give him a 9.
All right.
So he's undeniable.
All right. And then I'm going to have to give it a 10 just because of the simple fact that WWE wise, we know a lot of people. And if you haven't seen one of Professor's videos that are out right now, he recently just brought up this subject. Not many people get to hold a belt in WWE, nor as well be the WWE champion. And at one point, maybe once or twice, they have put this belt on him. They have let him go up against the Beast at WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. That is already a legacy that's in there. That'll put you in Hall of Fame, no doubt. Then to go and do it at AEW and to something that the mayor has stated, do you feel the difference when they're not there? You feel the difference in AEW when Jon Moxley is not there. And then to go over to another culture and to be able to be so well revered by them that they are confident to put the championship on you, that is a legacy that is going to hit from across the world and telling different stories. So I also have to give it a 10 as far as legacy and impact. And I wanted to leave it last to you, Mayor, as the advocate for John Moxley in this. Legacy and impact on a scale of 1 to 10.
You absolutely cannot tell the story of pro wrestling without John Moxley. And he took the blueprint Cody made and laid down by leaving WWE. He made a perfect masterpiece of it. So I have to believe that in 20 to 30 years from now, those children who want to be pro wrestlers, they might not all get the opportunity to be the next Seth Rollins or the Roman Reigns, but could they be the next John Moxley and follow his road to stardom? Absolutely. For that alone, it's a 10. He's done it on multiple continents. He's been wildly successful. If Kenny Omega is the soul of AEW, we know that John Moxley is the heartbeat because they've given him the ball and the rock so many times to carry the banner, carry the company, to show why you should be invested into AEW programming week after week. And we can't deny his time in WWE as well. He wasn't a scrub there. He was a world champion there. He just, like Seth, was a part of Roman's orbit and what they wanted to accomplish. He said, you know what? I'm going to go do my thing over there. And he did it better than all three of them. For that alone, it's a 10.
Time.
Oh, well, ladies and gentlemen, we have gotten through every single category with these three wrestlers. We got 10 minutes, 9 minutes before SmackDown starts. And I am just going to rip the Band-Aid off. We have totaled these up. Thank you to my panel for a great debate between you all. Everyone also in the comments that were giving their ratings. It is time to rank these. Now, of course, we cannot do this without recognizing first number one Shield member, my boy Kurt Angle. we already know who number one is. So just so this is starting from 4 up to 2 because Kurt Angle had everything.
Notice the Shield member that was missing in that picture.
You just had to point that out. All right, so the number 3 Shield member, after totaling all of this up with 221.5 points, is the architect, Seth Rollins, at number 3. He is the 3rd best Shield member.
Makes
number 2 at 225 is your tribal chief, Roman Reigns.
Sorry to laugh that loud, but yes.
As the second best Shield member.
That title reign saved him.
Mm-hmm.
He could have been number 3, honestly.
Hold on, honey, because you
it was just that title reign.
And coming in at 226.5.
By 1 point?
By 1
Courtney,
point.
it's your fault. You and these have. I love you, sis, but I'm blaming you for this.
That was crazy. I think I voted John a 7 on one of those categories too. Like,
I sure did too. Unreal, man. That's just based on.
It makes sense.
It's a
it does.
conspiracy.
It makes perfect sense.
Yes.
He absolutely is. Like,
yeah.
I have a closing statement.
All right, so we will get to that, and then with the closing statement, let us know where they can follow you so we can get everybody ready for SmackDown. Honey, your closing statements and where people can follow and support you.
Roman Reigns is not only the greatest Shield member, but he's one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, okay? Dominance, character work, ability to elevate the whole industry, place him in a league of his own. Hollywood's calling. Rollins may have been the workhorse reputation. Moxley found undeniable success outside of WWE. However, and still, and will always be yours and my tribal chief, Roman Reigns is WWE all day, every day. Okay? Live, breathe, eat, sleep, repeat. Period.
But y'all came up with these points.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what the vote.
This was rigged. This was rigged.
Wow. Wow.
That's why I'm glad I did this system for this point right here. Because we can't go back and be like, nah,
we all know the real answer. We all know
we gave the real answer.
All of you in the chat know the real answer and who the real number one Shield member is. And it ain't Kurt Angle.
Wow.
Ooh, man. Okay.
Wow.
But y'all can find me always acknowledging my tribal chief from day one. That's where y'all can find me. I'm not really gonna be. You know what? I'm not gonna be here
Wow.
for long tonight. I have some birthday celebrations to uphold, and don't you dare put mine, Antoine. Don't you dare put that name with my name in the same sentence. How dare you? This is me. This is me, full Kendrick. Okay, not Drake. Sorry. But yes, you can find me everything wrestling with Honey. You can find me at the Kayfabe podcast tomorrow, and no watch along tonight. I love you guys. I'm sorry, but enjoy the show. I'm gonna be celebrating Pachu's birthday, and I will always celebrate my tribal chief.
All right. Courtney, closing remarks and where they can find you.
Dear God. All I just have to say is you make my heart sing. I just had to do it. But they can always find me on every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You can also find me here every Wednesday because I do my watch along for AEW Dynamite and seeing your reigning AEW champion in John Moxley. They can also I just had to plug in. He's the champion. But they can also find me.
Please.
I'm the tribal chief around here. Yeah, you see me, the tribal chief. That's right.
No, he ain't number one in this. He's not number one in this.
Number one. But they can also follow me at CourtneyNJ11 on Twitter and Instagram. You know, tomorrow, Bell at the Brawl, I will be there doing commentary, and make sure to follow Bell to Bell on Instagram and Facebook.
All right. We wouldn't have known who made that sound until
Somebody asked too. What was all that? I want to know what that was too.
Until the turn happened. Professor, closing remarks, and where can they follow and support you?
Well, congratulations to John Moxley. I think it's well deserved, and I think he has earned this recognition for sure. You can find me at Bonafide across all of the social spaces. Shout out to all of you who joined us last night for episode 2 of Ashe Wrestling TV, Special Little Nobodies. I saw you in the chat. And if you guys have not watched it, go back, check it out. I have an in-ring interview with Darius Lockhart. Really, really good stuff. Great show, great matches, as well with the main event, Jonathan Gresham versus Darius Carter. Crazy, just crazy. Again, that's at the YouTube channel for Ashe Wrestling. Also, you can check me out with All Caribbean Wrestling. All sorts of great things are happening with All Caribbean as well. Southern Honor and all the spaces that I'm doing commentary and ring work. And as well, again, on my socials, I've been dropping a lot of video content lately. We dropped one on who is the greatest wrestler to have never held the world championship. That one's kind of going crazy on TikTok and Instagram. And we dropped another one today about this whole WWE TNA partnership. So check it all out at Bonafide.
Yes, indeed. Mayor, closing remarks and where they can follow and support you.
I'm just so happy that we got this right this time. You know, I can breathe a sigh of relief. That we got the number 1 Shield member right. And Honey, don't feel too bad because Roman is also the number 2 Bloodline member as well. He's a good number 2. I stumbled earlier on that Bible verse, so I want to be respectful. It quoted, better to be patient than powerful, better to have self-control than conquer a city. We've seen a man in John Moxley. He didn't need to conquer a city. He didn't need to conquer WWE. All he had to do was leave, and he conquered the whole world. Top flight security of the world, Craig. That's John Moxley. And he's your number 1 Shield member. You can find me in all spaces. Says on Twitter. Said is the answer on the gram. You can find me for Monday Night Mayor, where we'll be hopefully looking forward to the first New Day action that they're going to have in the past month since the whole Big E debacle. And of course, making conference for this lovely platform. But I am overwhelmed with joy. That's all I got. I'm overwhelmed with joy.
I promise you this, above all else, I'm going to be more obnoxious, more overbearing, and I'm going to make you all learn to love it because you'll have no choice.
And actually, that's accurate because if the Commanders win tomorrow, I'm going to act an ass.
Lord.
So go Commanders.
Oh, God.
Go Commanders.
Dear
Beat Detroit.
Oh, my goodness, man. I'm going to also keep mine short and simple. closing remarks, incredible debate from all of you, gave in fantastic and incredible points, but also too, I think the MVP of this, outside John Moxley being the winner, is the chat. I want to thank y'all for throwing facts, all of the ratings that y'all were in. Y'all really made this debate even more incredible just by the way that you were interacting with us. And so we really appreciate that. And again, congratulations to him. I will always still be acknowledging my tribal chief, but as far as WWT is concerned, John Moxley is the #1 Shield member.
I'm not feeling it. You're lying. You must be sleeping under a rock or something.
You can just follow me at everything. Big Back. Follow the Kayfabe podcast.
And the barbershop window.
What? Wait, I'm not the one that made this happen. Okay, you voted just like everybody else. You rated. Okay, you should have been biased and gave everybody else 7s. Okay, you wanted to be truthful just like everyone else. So this is what happens, and it just hurts.
Oh, would you look at? Oh wait! Oh, it's no. Unfortunately.
Battle rap, honey, all 2025. You guys wanted it. You guys got it. Wait till the next debate. Just wait.
And that's what we want to know from the community as well. Go into the comments below on this video, as well as hit us up in social. Let us know the next debate that you would like to see WWT go at and be able to discuss. We don't want to hold you anymore because SmackDown, right?
Oh. You just emphasized my point. That's all. I'm gonna. It's something I wrote about in the past for AfterBuzz, but I'm gonna nominate Greatest Tag Team.
Okay. All right. Greatest Tag Team. Might be the book. So just be sure to look out. Hopefully we'll be able to have a debate each month, just to be able, change things up for WT Live. Well, of course, we'll talk with the real TK to figure out how all of that's going to go. But we love each and every single one of y'all always coming in here and just being a part of this. SmackDown is starting, so I don't want to keep y'all any longer. We know you got to get out of here. Honey got to go catch a helicopter to Manhattan. So we want to make sure. Thank you once again for checking out WWT, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.
Thanks for joining WWT. Don't forget to like us on all social media platforms at WW Talk Pod. Like and subscribe on all video and audio platforms, like yesterday, my G. And check out our website at www.talkpod.com. Thanks for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.
Yo, by 1 point